Community Climate Action Network, Tamaki Makoto, welcomes you to our April Hui Speaker Spotlight.
His name is Rory, and he's going to be talking about some initial work that's being done on food forests. So let's give Rory a big welcome.
Kia ora koutou, ko Rory tōku ingoa. Thanks very much. It's really lovely to be here. I haven't been here for quite a few years, and it's a remarkable space, and really nice to be here today. I am at council in the Community Climate Action team. A few of my team members are here today: Fran, Catherine, Greer, Robbie, Bex, Rachel, and I have been starting to work a bit on this food forest project, so I'm going to try and do a really quick pitch 101 about what we're up to, and I'm going to couch it with the fact that I'm certainly not a food forest expert. There's probably plenty of people in the room that know more about food forests than me. If you like, I'm a little seedling in the forest full of knowledgeable rākau and on the learning journey, so bear with me if I'm getting anything wrong. We can jump to the next slide. Thanks, Carl. So what is a food forest? There's lots of different kinds of food forests, but to try and put it and encapsulate it in a small sentence, a diverse planting of edible plants that mimics natural ecosystems. So it's a way of growing the fruits that we love to eat, but taking the lessons from forests and nature in terms of how ecosystems will naturally grow. If we transport ourselves for a moment into a forest, we look down and we see leaf litter on the floor and fungi and moss, and a little bit further up we start seeing ferns and shrubs with berries, and we keep going and there's vines and eventually the different sections and layers of the forest until we get to that canopy, the grandparents at the canopy layer. And food forests are taking all of those. It's a complete ecosystem. It's growing. No bags of fertilizer are having to be added to enable these big trees to continue growing. It's supporting itself as a complete ecosystem. And but how does that come about? Well, if we switch out for a second and imagine a degraded landscape, for example, a pine forest that's been felled for forestry, and eventually, over time, 500 plus years, that landscape will return itself to a forest, and it will be a step-by-step process of initially some grasses will grow, and then the next succession of some gorse or manuka, and those will provide a nursery environment for the next successions of plants, and eventually, again, we'll get to those grandparents, those tōtara, the podocarps, the kauri, that will be the forest. So if we, of course, we're impatient human beings. We're impatient. We say, no, is there a way that we can do it faster? And also, what about the things that we love to eat in our daily lives? Peaches, plums, bananas, all these lovely fruits. And so how could we do it a bit faster and also be able to grow those fruits that we love? And so there's methods of doing that, and a lot of it's about selecting species that have certain characteristics, and then planting very densely and with lots and lots of diversity, and using ourselves as agents, as active agents in this process of the forest that's growing. So if we take an example, say if we planted a eucalyptus, which is a really fast-growing pioneer species, and really close to it next door we plant a peach, and really close to it next door we plant tithonia, or Mexican sunflower. And if we just left that and let them grow, well, the eucalyptus would go shooting up, and it would shade out everything below it, and the peach would be squeezed in, and then next to it the tithonia would go plat, and it would occupy all the space that the peach was in, and that poor little peach wouldn't stand a chance, and it wouldn't get enough sunlight, and it wouldn't grow, and we wouldn't get that nice peach tree with nice fruit on it that we're after. But if we interacted with that system in an active way, we can prune the eucalyptus and use the biomass that it produces to put on the ground, composting in situ, if you like. And then on the other side, as the Tithonia grows, it's producing lots and lots of biomass, lots of green material, and that's fantastic. And that's why it's been planted there. We want all of that stuff, and we'll prune it regularly and lay those things on the ground to replicate the leaf litter that would be falling in the forest from the big trees. So it's interacting dynamically with these species, planting them densely, but pruning them and working with them in a way that benefits the ecosystem as a whole, but enables those fruiting trees to have the best start to life and grow successfully. And then of course, that's a few species, but there'll be so many more. There'll be berries, there'll be other shrubs, there'll be herbs, flowers, whatever that we want to plant and eat and pack in for the benefit of the pollinators and for us. So we can jump to the next slide, I think, Carl. So why food forests? So in an urban environment, so obviously tree canopy cover, forests provide important tree canopy cover in a warming climate, provide important shade and cooling benefits, carbon sequestration. Of course, a lot of carbon is sequestered in forests, and the healthy forest ecosystems that are generating and feeding those fungal networks is where that long stored carbon is stored. And learning opportunities for the community. People can learn about grafting and planting and harvesting and preserving and all the things associated with the forest. And soil improvement, so improving the soil in a way that makes it spongier, can hold more water and more resilient in drought and also in flood situations, which we know we're going to have more and more of in Auckland. And then doing all of these things, all these ecosystem benefits of a forest, but also food, and we love food. So it's a win-win. Food forests are a win-win. We can go to the next, Carl. So this project that we're doing at the moment, there's already some amazing food forests in Auckland. That picture at the start, some of you might have recognised the Sanctuary Garden, the Mahi Whenua Food Forest at Unitec, and there's others like at Papatoanuku Marae, which has been a learning space for these new projects that are emerging. So we're supporting Te Pirangatahi o Te Maungarongo Marae in West Harbour, who are starting their Wāhua or food forest journey. The Pacific Vision and Roots Collective group in Aotearoa at Boundary Road, and setting up a new food forest there, and also Triangle Park Community Garden. They've already got an amazing community garden and fruit trees, and they're expanding out to create a bigger food forest. And so piloting food forests on these 3 sites and supporting these groups with a food forest specialist who is helping them with the design and planning process, which is going on at the moment, and also with a soil specialist who is going to be taking samples and testing the soil so that things like the water holding capacity and carbon sequestration can be measured over time, and we can capture all the many potential benefits that are to be had. We can go to the next. This is just a initial drawing from this is for the Triangle Park Food Forest, just to illustrate some what we might potentially see at year 3 and year 10. This is a row with bananas and probably avocados, and you can see the blue shapes up the top are the eucalyptus that will shoot up really fast and provide that important shade and wind shelter, but be pruned in a way that allows the light to come in and the bananas and fruit trees and support species below to grow. And then year 10, how we'll see that forest develop with the different horizontal and vertical spaces change over time as that forest grows. You can go to the next. So yeah, that's the project. 3 new pilot community food forests. If you would like to know more about food forests, there's some amazing resources out there. Permadynamics are a group in Northland that have a lot of experience in this and have a huge amount of resources that are available online through their Patreon and courses. And we are hopefully going to be getting roots and the plants in the ground this spring on these projects, just working through things at the moment in terms of site access and then we'll hopefully be able to come back at some point, or one of these projects can come back and report and let you know how it's all going. Kia ora, ngā mihi.
Thanks, Rory. Does it make you hungry? So we got lunch coming up soon. So have we got some questions for Rory? Greer, sorry.
Oh yeah, my question was just about, like, I know New Zealand has a really good culture of like traditional orcharding, things like kiwi fruit, especially citrus. Like, do you think there's potential for those kind of traditional orchards to be converted into this type of thing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think obviously there's lots of benefits of a diverse system like this over what is often like commercial systems are often monoculture, and you know, as I'm sure everyone knows here, it's the diversity in forests that create all those good things. Just how nature works. There's diversity in nature, not monoculture, and I mean, I guess a challenge with conventional agriculture is everything is designed to about efficiency and maximum yield, and so orcharding, trees are kept really small and narrow rows, and monoculture, so that machinery can work around them and they're as easy as possible to harvest the most amount from. So there's possibly some expectation changes that will have to be made around, in a forest environment, you're not getting all one of the same crop that can just be harvested in one point and exported off. But I think those are like, it's all those things that, well, it's the environment we're working within is climate change. So that's that classic thing that we can't change that. So these other things might seem hard, but actually they're important shifts to make. And it's also far more fun being in a diverse forest than being in a monoculture. So there's so many benefits to it as well. So yeah, hopefully, absolutely.
Oh wow, lots of questions.
Is it hard finding the space to create these community forests, or is there lots of demand for it?
There's lots of demand for it, and it's hard finding the space. Both, yes. Yeah, it's that classic case of like, you go around and you're just like, oh, there's a bit of empty grass there, there's empty space there, we can put food forests in all these places, and then you come to having conversations about those spaces and all the challenges start to come up. So one of these projects is on a marae, and they don't have to get any permissions, they can just charge ahead. And so, like, marae are fantastic places to have these. The Papatūānuku Kōkiri marae in Māngere also has a 4-year-old food forest now. Parks is somewhere where we really want to try and test how can food forests look in parks, how can they exist in parks, and so that's a big challenge as part of this project, is working out all the internal stuff in council as to how can we set up a system that food forests can be successful. So in this case, each food forest has a community organisation that's partnered with it and will be the kaitiaki of that food forest. But the concerns are often things like fruit dropping on the ground and not getting picked, creating food for rats and other vermin. So hence having a community organisation that will take the lead on harvesting and distributing that fruit. And then other considerations like, what support do the groups need around pruning, like having arboriculture support for pruning and maintenance, is that important? So yeah, there's lots of potential, but also, especially on parks land, there's quite a few things to work through because there are some food forests, but it's unlike, say, community gardens, which are just pretty well understood and there's lots of them. Figuring out what exactly are the systems and what a food forest on parks look like is a bit newer. So that's part of the challenge of this project. But yeah, it's a really good point and question. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Rory.
Community Climate Action Network.